Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This, of course, is another anime reaction video. Today, we are getting into some more Noragami mid-season. I don't know what's about to happen in these next two episodes. Last two episodes, we got a confrontation between Yato and Bishamon. A misunderstanding construed by fucking Kugaha, who wants to take over, well, not take over necessarily, but to, well, technically take over, be like a shadow, like puppeteer kind of guy in the background with a new Bishamon, because he's hoping Yato kills him. We learn more about what happened the night when Yato killed not just a regalia that belonged to Bishamon, but like her entire clan except for Kazuma. That was pretty crazy, and honestly, it's crazy how the last two episodes have felt like they were building up to the season finale. Like, so much crazy shit has been happening, so much like revelations almost, in regards to certain characters. It feels like this should be at the end of the season, but it's happening in the middle, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, you know. It could be a good thing, because it could either mean that they got some even better shit coming in the second half of the season, or it could be a bad thing. It could eventually, like, you know, peter off and be like, you know, for the second half. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because, yeah, I'm just hopeful. I don't really technically have any basis for that, but I'm going to trust. There's a buzz. A phone. I'm gonna trust that it's gonna go well. You know, I don't have any reason to not believe it won't be good. You know, but right after this, I do have to mention is when I'm going to be watching the OVAs for the first season. I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. It's like a weird watch order. It's the entirety of Season 1, the first 6 episodes of Season 2, then there's 2 OVAs that are called Noragami OVAs. So, but you watch them in the order of the second one first, and then the first one. And then watch the other 2 OVAs after Season 2 ends. So I imagine at least by the end of 6 there'll be some kind of, like, conclusion almost, or at least there's something that flows into what the actual OVAs are. I don't know for sure, but I mean, either way, for the time being, let's get started with episode 5 of Noragami Aragoto. As always, there will be links down in the description below, which will take you to the full-length uncut reactions. Go ahead and follow one of those links to go to the reaction. I can't speak today, apparently, or any day, honestly. And then come back to YouTube for the discussion. So, without further ado, let's get started with episode 5 of Noragami Aragoto. Oh boy, I'm gonna keep saying it till the day I fucking die. This feels like what would happen in a season finale, especially because the cliffhanger we got left on was that, oh, by the way, we're gonna settle this. We're settling this fight to the next time. You know what I mean? Like if we were watching this weekly, it's almost like, next time, next week on Noragami Aragoto, Yato and Kugaha have their climactic showdown. It's like, god damn it, dude. Now it's just, I don't know. I don't know. This has been like really tense and like almost stressful to this point because so many. And this is such like a raw and like how do I put it? Emotional like season so far. Again, vastly, and I think it's because it's a sequel. It's been able to go with these like interesting and like really striking and like impactful ideas. Now that it's a season 2 instead of a season 1 that needs to be introducing everything, you know. Having spent so much time just like invested in this story with Bishamon has been so cool, and I think that was a very smart idea to take the focus less so off of you know, Yato. Not completely, obviously, he's still a part of it, and you know, we still have some stuff going on with Yato and Hiyori and Yukine, but it mostly ties into Bishamon. It's almost, not entirely, but almost as if we've switched, you know, protagonists, you know, more, because this season is more so about Bishamon and, you know, Kazuma and Kugaha, and the dynamic created by the relationships that these characters have, you know, from the past with Bishamon and Kazuma and Kugaha, who I don't even know when he appeared in their whole circle, but him sort of shaking up this whole thing, bringing to light a lot of different things. It's really interesting, and who's to say? There's probably going to be further development between lots of characters like Yato and Yuki. I don't know why I'm doing this voice, and Hiyori later in the series, even after this season. But for the time being, like, because in season 1 it was a very satisfying conclusion to their sort of character arcs, in season 1 with Yato and Yukine finally like being able to connect, and then fighting Rabo. But I don't know. It's just so interesting, and to me, it's very well written. You know what I mean? The guilt of being quite literally to blame for something that causes somebody important to you pain, and then are these ones dead? I know a bunch of other regalia are dead, but is Kazuma really gone? But as much as I don't want him to be gone, it might almost be like a good thing, because she's constantly carrying. Bishamon is constantly carrying that on her shoulders, on her back, the feeling of that she lost all of her regalia, they were all killed, and hate fuels her. She wakes up every day and is like, I choose violence. I'm going to fucking kill Yato when I see him. So, and I get why, Kazuma decided to try and keep the truth hidden from her, because who knows how she would have reacted to that. In the moment, she would probably be pissed. Even if she knew the reason, she'd probably be pissed. But I don't know. Truly, I don't know how she would have completely reacted to it. But what I was saying is that because of that, because of how much of her current life is influenced and fueled by the fact that she had her regalia taken from her a long time ago, it is for that reason that she it's probably a good idea that she ended up losing Kazuma, because of that means she can finally start to cut ties almost with that past, because he was the last remaining piece of that. But now she knows that it wasn't Yato's fault, so even though she might still be mad at him for going through with it, she can't entirely blame him. But the one she could have entirely blamed, because Kazuma was the one who initiated it, is gone. So not only is the cause of all of her regalia dying in the past dead, but also the one piece from her past that's still alive and reminds her of it is alive. So I don't know how this is going to end up working or playing out, for the rest of the season, or the rest of the series for that matter. But that's just like my 2 cents on that whole situation. I think it might be beneficial to her that Kazuma dies. I don't want him to die. I like him a lot, but like I've been saying, it might be the healthiest option for Bishamon to go on with her life. And I get why Bishamon's doing what she did, but I can't. I like how in the writing for this season, it's very shades of gray. Other than Kugaha, I can get where he's coming from, but I just don't like him. But I like, even like Bishamon, who I'm very I sympathize with her. I like her. I can see why she would be at fault for a lot of things, because as much as I think it's great that she wants to help out, the downtrodden, the almost dead, the stray souls, I think it's very irresponsible and reckless to just take them in, no questions asked. As great as it is, and how selfless, and as I believe Kugaha put it, motherly, because she wanted to pat herself on the back for being motherly. More than that, I think the reason why she does it comes from a very selfish place. She used to have a big family in the past. How she got that big family of regalia in the past, I don't know. But the only reason she really has one now, under the pretense of being a kind, caring, motherly figure, it's just because she wants that life back. She wants to have a big family because that's what she used to have, and she is sad. She's very constrained to her past. She lets it define who she currently is without making any efforts to change at all, even though it would very much benefit not only herself, but everybody in her life. you know. So in that regard, I get where Kugaha's coming from. I still don't like him, mostly because he's a smug, evil snake, and I don't appreciate the things he does, or like, and the whole like succession thing, so that he can mold the new Bishamon to do whatever he wants. To be fair, I don't know what he would do with that power, but I still think that's pretty fucked up, especially when it comes at the price of killing mercilessly all of these regalia who did nothing wrong. To be fair, but and Kazuma is also an interesting case. Again, shades of gray, all across the board. I like him. He's the guiding voice. He treats Bishamon and the other regalia pretty well, from what I know. He's very proactive. He took the immediate. He was on like, all right, our master has got some stuff going on with her. We need to figure this out sooner rather than later. And regardless of if he's going to be like not as well liked because of it, because he forced everyone to do like an inspection for like infections or whatever. And I appreciate that. I think for that reason, he's kind of a good person, but at the same time, he is also very selfish. A lot of this has been themes of selfishness. Everyone's had to go through some stuff regarding their selfish behavior. Obviously, Bishamon and Kazuma, as I've laid out, they're very selfish. Kazuma kept the truth because he was selfish. He didn't want things bad to happen to Bishamon, even though, in all honesty, what she's done because she didn't know the truth is worse than what she might have done if she did know the truth. But because he was selfish in the moment, and for up until he finally said it, things ended up the way they are. Kugaha is definitely a very selfish character. He and then that also like goes in regards with his the Aiha, the girl who was against her will for with her will for a little bit at the beginning there, but eventually against her will, helping out Kugaha. She was very jealous because she used to be the divine protection gear or whatever. It's all smells of well thought out story. That's crazy how that happens. It's almost like the mangakas plan out their stories or something. But what I'm trying to say out of all of this is that I really appreciate it. Excuse me, goddamn, and well, I'm just very interested in getting into the rest of the series, more specifically the next episode, which I unfortunately do not have time for at this moment. Obviously, if you're watching this now, I've either made this just a one episode video, which I will excuse by, which I don't have enough time to record today. I'll have to either make this just a one episode video or get into the episode 6 in a different video. I don't know yet. You all obviously know already, but okay, see, so it's really god damn it. So yeah, we're getting a little bit of setup for what the rest of the season's gonna be. And see, I want to believe that it has something to do with the dude in the suit and the trench coat, but I honestly have no idea where this is gonna go next. There's just like a few things in this opening that I can't really like explain from having watched the actual season so far. There's the old shrine with food in front of it with a young looking Yato, I assume. There's a guy, I don't remember, maybe I'm stupid and I forgot, but in a school uniform, I assume walking past Hiyori in the opening with like orange eyes, and then green-eyed dude with the suit with the blue tie and the trench coat. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's got to be connected in some way. Now, anyway, regarding this episode specifically, I feel like a broken record, but it's literally not going to stop me from saying this shit anyway. This feels like the end of a season, alright? It feels like, because it's concluded, it's like wrapped up like all of the things that it's been setting up throughout this entire season, right? The themes of jealousy, and all of that, and forgiveness for the past, that became sort of a thing that came up during the ending, mostly in regards to a lot of characters, that being like Kugaha, Bishamon, Yato, Kazuma, which, speaking of which, we didn't really see like any reconciliation with Yato and Bishamon, which would be neat to see. But the fact that this whole like Kugaha arc, so to speak, was finished in just half the season makes me think something even like greater is gonna come in the next half of the season, which I'm super excited for, by the way. Now, God, I mentioned it before, but I really appreciate how they went about passing the torch, almost not like entirely, but like shining the spotlight on more than just like Yato. This was truly about Bishamon and Kugaha and Kazuma, right? And so it was just like a super interesting idea to begin with, and I'm not a super huge like I like Kugaha. I get where he's coming from, but I genuinely don't believe that's like any excuse for the shit he did, because ultimately like he blames Bishamon for all of this happening, and to an extent I can kind of see that, because he wouldn't have done all of this if she hadn't been so reckless with constantly trying to get more and like newer regalia and helping out everyone, and not when you help literally everyone, it's hard to help like any one particular person. When you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing no one type thing. I still don't think it excuses the shit he did. So he was expelled, right, or released, so I assume he's just gonna go back to being like a stray spirit until maybe one day he becomes somebody else's regalia. I don't know how. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't know exactly how that works. I guess not killing him is probably part of Bishamon's like arc as well. He or she rather. She's always, her life has been fueled by having grudges and hating other people for what they've done to her. But instead, she decides she's gonna start changing her ways. I assume she's gonna stop trying to kill Yato, but in regards to Kugaha, instead of killing him, just like saying, you know what, I can't forgive you for what you did, but it's partially my fault, so I'm just gonna like send you away, because if you stay, you're probably gonna hurt people again, And you know what? In the last moments, in his last moments before he had his name revoked, he did show a bit of his true colors. He cares about Bishamon, and that's partially why he wanted to have her killed and all the regalia, so that they can start fresh with him as the guiding voice, so that he can protect her and make sure this doesn't happen again. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was just talking about, but I will say, I'll bring it up again because I brought it up in the episode. I feel like it didn't happen because we were focusing mostly on the reconciliation between Bishamon, Kazuma, and the rest of her regalia. But if we were to get like a reconciliation, just like a talking out, like some closure on the conflict between Yato and Bishamon in the future, I would imagine they would maybe bring it up, maybe like even though I still don't really like you, I get it. I get that I was in the wrong with trying to kill you or something. Maybe there'll still be some like a little bit of bad blood or something, like because they've been fighting for so long, it just feels natural. But it was just like an interesting little like detail that now that everything is much clearer, Bishamon is doing basically the same thing that Yato did to her clan before, because in Yato's case, of course, they had already turned to that huge monster, and he was just killing the monster and ultimately helping her out, even though he technically is guilty of killing her regalia, right? So now Bishamon's basically in the same scenario. It's just like a bit of like a similarity between the two situations that I think is really interesting. It's really cool, if I do say so myself. But that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. Great. It's almost weird to say great start to a season since it's been 6 episodes, but like, again, only one half of the season feels like a season finale. But if you watched all the way to this point, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single upload in the future. Thank you once again for watching. Peace.